So it's almost time for your big trip that your students have been working so hard for this year, and the gas alone puts you over budget. Time to get serious about a fundraiser, y'all. My name's Joel Harrison. I'm a hypnotist, and I've been doing fundraisers for high school groups and making thousands of dollars at a time for over 15 years. This is the second video in my little series here where I'm giving you all the fundraiser tips I can think of to make your next fundraiser as profitable, easy, and stress-free as possible. So if you followed my first tip, which I laid out a couple of days ago, you've already gotten started. You've realized that there's a lot of competition for a fundraiser inside your school and that the earlier you get started, the better. In today's video, I'm going to run down a few types of fundraisers that I have experience with either doing or being around, pros and cons for you, so that as you guys sit down with your group, you can decide what the best fundraiser for your group is going to be. Let's get started. So the first fundraiser I want to talk about is what I call the non-fundraiser. So the non-fundraiser is basically just an easy sales letter. So you send it to all the parents early in the year and you say, hey, look, we need money, but we don't want to do a fundraiser. So why don't you give us $25 and we won't send you another letter this year? If you give us $50, we'll take you off of the letter for next year. And if you give $100, we'll never bother you again. Thanks, the school. And so listen, this can be effective. You can get some people to donate money. But in all reality, most of the time that's going to sit on the counter and end up in the trash very soon. It doesn't engage anybody. You're not giving anybody a reason. You're not telling them what you're doing with their money. And let's be perfectly honest, it's a very lazy way to go about a fundraiser. We all know you don't really get anything without working on it. So if you don't need that much money and you don't want to put any effort in, then do the non-fundraiser. Send the letter out, you'll get a little bit of money, no big deal. This is obviously not my favorite kind of fundraiser because it's not a fundraiser and I do fundraisers. So that's kind of my opinion on it. It can work, it can make you some money, but come on. If you're at least watching this video, let's put some effort in. The next one I want to talk about is probably one of the most popular fundraisers that you see in schools, and that's going to be what I call the retail fundraiser. So that's going to be your cookie dough, your t-shirts, your popcorn. I saw somebody a couple weeks ago doing those tumblers, like those really nice big cups that are going to keep your drink cold or hot all day long. I thought that was a pretty good idea. The good thing is you have a company that knows what they're doing, that's made people a lot of money. They have structure, they have logistics, and they can make it easy on you. Let's be honest, for the people you're asking money for, is your retail fundraiser a good value? And this is the thing that really kind of irks me about the retail fundraiser, and I understand because we have two groups of people that need to make money. You have a legitimate business that works for profit, that has employees to pay, and then you have your group that is trying to raise money for whatever you need it for. So your products, of course, are going to be a little overpriced, but y'all, this came to me. I was sitting on my table one day, and my wife had purchased it from one of the kids at her work, that she really liked the kid and she wanted to help him out, which I can support. I'm totally down for that. But this tin, it is empty now, it was filled with popcorn. Plain popcorn. This wasn't the three kind of popcorns that you get at Christmas for the person that you kind of like, but you don't really have any idea what you want them to get. It's got the cheese, the caramel, the regular popcorn. You can munch on it for like a week. No, this was regular popcorn. This tin cost me $30. Y'all, I live in St. Louis, but I'm not a baseball guy, so the Cardinals thing doesn't really do anything for me. But you have to gotta ask, if you are trying to, yes, I'm aware I just said have to gotta, and I'm gonna leave it in. You have to ask, do you want to spend $30 on a couple of handfuls of popcorn? What's the value there? We live in a society where money is precious. There are not as many rich people as there used to be, and let's be honest, in your high school, you're probably asking money for people who probably don't really have a lot to give. So you want to make sure that you give them back something for their money. If they're going to buy something for you, give them something of value. So just take a few extra minutes and evaluate the cost that's coming with the product you're selling. You can sell a tub of cookie dough for $20, or you can sell a tub of cookie dough for $10. personally, I'll buy the second tub of cookie dough that's more reasonably priced and get a better value from myself, and you're going to get a higher percentage on that. So just evaluate that. That brings up my next point about the retail fundraisers, and really about every fundraiser, is you want to make sure you evaluate the percentage of income shared. So there's a big range of profits of interest shared. You can run anywhere between like 25 on some fundraisers to as much as 50 on some fundraisers. Now, a lot of the companies that are going to give you a lower percentage are the companies that are going to have more structure, more help involved. So if you're not sure what you're doing with your fundraiser, make sure that you find somebody that's going to offer that help, have that structure, and then check out what the percentage is of the money shared. You can still find a lot of companies, especially the smaller companies, that will give you more help and a higher percentage. So don't just grab the first tin of popcorn that you can that's going to only give you 35%. Somebody else is selling a tin of popcorn for giving you 40%. And maybe the guy that's selling those cool tumblers that people are actually going to use and take with them long term, maybe that good product that's sold for a good price also has a good profit percentage for you. You can find those products. They're out there. So be sure that you check on all those factors to ensure that you deliver the best value to the people who are doing something nice for you and donating money to your organization, while your organization gets the best percentage and makes the most profit possible. So the big elephant in the room with the retail fundraisers is distribution. So, we all worry about actually making the money and getting the money into our organizations. But what about after that, when you've got to distribute the products that you sold to the people that bought them? So your kid may be the absolute number one fundraiser seller, and they sold 350 tubs of cookie dough to 275 people. Congratulations. You now have 350 tubs of cookie dough sitting in your kitchen with nowhere to keep them cold, and how to figure out how to get them to all the people that they need without, taking up your entire life. You're not Jeff Bezos. He's the CEO of Amazon. These folks don't have Prime. You have to take them to their house. So as you do better and better in the fundraiser, you create a bigger and bigger problem for yourself. The more money you make, the more headache you give yourself to distribute these products. Next kind of fundraiser that I am actually a pretty big fan of are what I call the thons. This can be the dance-a-thon, the walk-a-thon, the sit-a-thon. If you're sitting in the same position for 30 hours, it's a thing. So, these are really cool events. They're a lot of fun. They get a lot of people involved, and they allow you to do some of the really cool things that I would put into event fundraisers, because you're still getting people to come to a place at some point to participate, to see the people walk and to hang out and whatnot. So I like the thons. You can make a lot of money. Think about it. If you get each kid to walk 10 miles and it's $1 per mile and they got 20 people, you're going to stack up some real money here. I'll let you do the math. I don't do math on camera. It just never pans out for me. The other benefit about the thon is it's usually an event that you're putting together on your own, which means your group can keep 100% of the profit, which is a really great idea. The thing about the thons that I will say is a negative, and this story actually comes from when I was in high school to one of my favorite teachers, and she said, we had a dance-a-thon in the 80s. She'd been teaching for a while. She said we had a dance-a-thon in the 80s, and kids literally danced for more than a day. They had the winner of the dance-a-thon dance for something like 25 or 26 hours, which is unfathomable. It's also unsafe. She was telling the story that while a kid was dancing, they called her over and asked if they were going to clean up the glass from the Jumbotron that had just crashed in the corner. The student had literally been awake for so long and expended so much energy that they started hallucinating. And they thought that the scoreboard that in the corner of the gym that they were dancing in had fallen. We're a little bit smarter about things these days, so we want to pay a little bit better attention to the well-being of the participants, especially if they're students. So maybe having a dance-a-thon where your students are going to dance for an entire day and start hallucinating may be a bad idea. But there is a lot of value and a lot of fun to be had in the thons, so don't discount them. And now we're going to kind of turn the corner, and I'm going to get a little biased on you because I'm going to talk about my absolute favorite kind of fundraiser, and that's the kind of fundraiser that I do. This is an event fundraiser. I'm not talking specifically about hypnosis shows, although that's what I do. I'm talking about an event. I'm about having something cool happen at your place that you can bring people to, entertain them, or give them something cool to see or do or learn is also a great fundraiser. And when you've got them there, you have a captive audience that you can ask for more money for. So that's one of the main reasons why I like an event fundraiser. You can sell a ticket to that event, and then once you get them in the door, you can sell them concessions. You can do a silent auction. You can ask for money. You could just walk around and ask the people that have already bought a ticket to your event for more money. You can get members of the community or teachers or people involved in your event to make more money. Another reason that I really like event fundraisers is I feel that they give people very good value. If you pay attention to trends with millennials who are becoming a lot of the parents who are spending a lot of the money for your fundraisers, you're going to find that millennials value experiences more than stuff. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. There are things in my house that I've had since college that are acceptable, but they don't look that great, and I don't love them when people come over to see them. And that's because stuff is not my forte, because again, I'm a millennial, and this is the way I truly feel. I would rather have an experience. So if you come to me and you say, Joel, would you rather buy this tin of popcorn? Check out the cool tin that you get. You can keep. It's a thing. You can put it on your shelf. It's nice. I agree with all those things. They are true. I am not into stuff. But if you say, Joel, we're going to bring in some mules and we're going to play basketball on them, I think that's hilarious. I would definitely give you a little bit of money to watch that for a little bit. Or mouse races. Or, maybe if you felt like having a hypnosis show where people could come and not only could they see and laugh, but they could get into the action and be on stage, I would pay for that. That sounds really exciting. And again, I told you guys I was going to give you some biased opinions here, so you're getting one. But I would much rather pay for the event. I go out regularly over buying cool things for my house. That's how I feel. That's a personal biased opinion. But if you ask millennials, who are probably going to be the majority of the people funding your fundraiser, they feel very similarly. So that may be something to include. Okay, guys, I think that's about enough information for one video. So if you enjoyed this video, share this video in your feed. All that does is help us get this information to more folks and help more organizations raise more money. That's all we're looking to do. You guys have an amazing evening. My name's Joel Harrison. You can check me out at harrisonhypnosis.com on Facebook or on Instagram. Have a wonderful evening, y'all. I'll see you soon.